how do you think leaders can best sort of balance this use of AI and other data-driven tools with our need to be human? Yeah.
So first, I think there needs to be more investment in leadership, but in particular in mid-level managers. Mid-level managers are sort of the forgotten middle, right? We glamorize those who are executives or senior leaders like saviors of the world, even when they're not. And now there has been a very interesting and I think positive trend to kind of democratize everything for most employees, who we call talent. So all deserve coaching, all deserve investment. But we forgot that the forgotten middle is responsible for translating strategy into execution, driving engagement, driving well-being, driving performance. And it's very hard to be a mid-level manager. So you get promoted for being good in your previous job without much training. And now you're expected to not just hit results, but also to understand diversity, AI ethics, climate change, ESG, political activism, polarization, advocacy. And so investing in mid-level managers so that they can actually work out what the AI or the human AI age is really important. Secondly, I think it's inevitable that we're going to rely more and more on technology going forward. It isn't going to go away, and AI will continue to evolve. What leaders need to ensure is that they can rehumanize their cultures, because even if we get the productivity gains that we like, a world in which companies treat people like productivity machines, and they even want them to be engaged so that they're more productive, and they want them to have high well-being so that they deliver more, is basically taking us back 100 years, to the age of scientific management and Taylorism and assembly lines. And we don't.
I'm an industrial engineer, Tomas, so.
Yeah. The current trend seems that, but camouflaged or disguised with positive psychology, and it's not honest. And I think the third part is really to strategically reimagine in what ways employees can add value in their organization. So that's why I think I'm quite optimistic about some of the recent trends around skills-based organizations and skills-based hiring. I think it's certainly important to move from credentials to skills, but the next step has to be to really truly understand human potential. So if you are with a firm, Karen, and you have done all of this in the past, that's fine, but I should sit down with you and take a deeper look at your potential to understand in what ways you can add value going forward, and how I must reskill and upskill you, and maybe even pre-skill you for the tasks that we're going to need in the future. And all of this adds a lot of complexity, which is why, I haven't seen many companies that have figured this out yet.
Great. Okay, well, those are 4 topics I'd like to ask more questions on, and I'll get meeting into the second one. So this first thing about middle managers being overlooked, I'm sure you're familiar with Barry Oshry's work about tops, middles, and bottoms in an organization. And for those listening, this doesn't have anything to do with anything except the hierarchical roles that we find ourselves in, and the fact that the roles have conditions that arise regardless of the people that are in them. Middle managers tend to get pulled in many directions. Anyone who's been a middle manager will attest to this, probably have scars. And so the question is, how do we keep middle managers, or give middle managers the information that they need, the skills that they need in order to do their jobs productively? So could you talk more about the skills that you think middle managers need?
And, and here kind of maybe disclaimer or confession, my background is mostly in the field of predicting things and diagnosing things. So, although I do spend time developing leaders and coaching and advising, I have a strong bias for, the best way to fix things is to prevent them in the first place.
Yes.
And coaching, training, and development are great, but if you select the right people, it's much more impactful, and you're going to spend less money to get more results. So I think skills that are essential for competent management today have mostly to do with soft skills. They are, in essence, the skills that AI is unlikely to replicate or replace. Things like empathy, emotional intelligence, kindness, the capacity to understand other people, because AI can explain everything without understanding anything. And I know some humans are very good at that as well, but we don't need more people who mansplain things. We need fewer of them. So I think managers and also leaders will add value based on their ability to connect with others on a human level. And everybody agrees with this theoretically, but if you go to any organization and you look at how they promote people into management roles, it's still largely based on expertise, on hard skills, or on them being a lookalike to previous managers. Right. And as we know, what got you here will probably not get you there. So I think the shift has to be towards a more humane and human profile for managers. And if you do that, you still have to invest in training and in reskilling, but that gives you a much, much stronger base from which you can start.